Time to hit the road. $17mm, 16.84. They look very similar. Don't ever let anybody tell you that a motorcycle isn't practical. Check this out. Now that the snow's finally gone, I need to start thinking about lawn season. It's always something. Last year I picked up a John Deere Z375R. It's a zero-turn mower. It's got a 54-inch deck, which is going to be so much nicer than using my crappy old Craftsman tractor that I've had for the past 3 years. Don't have a John Deere dealership handy. I really don't feel like waiting for like one of their service kits to show up in the mail. So I'm just going to head off to Canadian Tire. I've already looked up some cross-reference numbers for the oil filter. I'm just gonna grab a couple jugs of oil. I'm gonna make it a fun trip. I'm gonna take the Street Glide. Why not? I've got to take the side pieces off of my hoist over there, but before I do that, I figured I'll just do the oil and filter to the zero turn on there, and then I can take those off and not have to put them back on yet this year, unless something goes wrong with my quad, which is highly likely. First world problems. I got too many toys. That was a fun little run to Canadian Tire. Don't ever let anybody tell you that a motorcycle isn't practical. Yeah, you get groceries, you can pick up some stuff to maintain your lawn equipment. Good to go. Heading out to the shed now to go grab my mower. Warm the engine up and then bring it out in the garage. What a spicy unit. Oh man, I left the keys inside. There we go. This thing just fits in here. Check this out. I certainly hope this fits on the hoist. I am definitely going to want these. Like a glove. Going up. Perfect. I've got my mower up on the hoist here. I just closed the door so that my neighbors don't think that I'm standing here talking to myself. So the first thing that I need to do is I need to drain the oil. The oil drain on this, kind of like the Sportster, I guess. It's just this tube right here, except this looks a little bit more heavy duty, I suppose. It just kind of clips on and then you run her off and open up the end and out she goes. I got no idea what I'm talking about right now. I bought this mower used at the end of the season last year. I was looking at how much they cost, and brand new, I think they're somewhere around like $5,000 or $6,000. I ended up getting this one for, I think it was $3,500, and it's very low hours, 118 or 120 hours or something on it. Don't quote me on that, but I do know that it's in the hundreds. That is going to create a mess. Ooh, I wonder if I should take that wheel off. Yeah, I think I'm gonna pull that wheel off. I'm gonna go grab my crappy little red jack. I've got my super crappy little jack here. I am just going to slide that under this side of the drive. It shouldn't be a whole lot of weight. I'm like putting a Harley Davidson on there. Yeah, just enough to get that wheel off, because man, I really do not want to spill oil all over this tire. 3/4 inch socket, a little extension, pull this wheel off. Whoever put these lug nuts on last They did not want this wheel coming off. Where I live, there's not a John Deere dealership nearby. I don't really feel like waiting for one of their maintenance kits to show up here. Truth be told, I think they're kind of overpriced anyway. What I did is I just went online and I found a website. I think it's called oilfiltercrossreference.org or something. Don't quote me on that, but I will put it in the video description which website I used. I went into Canadian Tire and I was gonna grab a Wix filter because Wix filters, to me, I think Wix filters are the best. I'm sure there's gonna be a whole bunch of people that disagree with me. The aisles in Canadian Tire were so bare that I had to get a Fram. And even the Frams were picked over. I couldn't believe it. Okay, wheel is off. That's wheelie good. That was a wheelie bad dad joke. Undo that, pull the dipstick so it can vent. There we go. Yeah, that's looking pretty dark. Yeah, I was having a look on YouTube and on Google to see if anybody else has made a video on this specific thing that I'm doing where I'm not using a John Deere kit to do the oil and filter to my zero turn. I don't know, I scrolled through probably about 20 or 30 videos. I couldn't find anything. I'm sure there was something there like for a different model one. I'm sure that probably would have been fine. I couldn't find one, so I'm making one. That way, if somebody else needs the help, then there's something there. Looking like it's pretty close to the end of it. I didn't even look on this thing to see where the oil filter's at yet. I mean, it's a pretty small engine. Oh, found it. Right there. Have a look at my sweet Fram filter that I picked up. I did crush the box a little bit when I put it in the saddlebag on the Street Glide there. I put the jug of oil on top of it like an idiot. Looks like it's an identical size physically. From that website, it was saying that this is a direct replacement for that part number, or that I guess it's not listed by John Deere as an exact replacement because they want you to buy their stuff. That website was saying that the thread pitch for those threads in there are correct for that, and that the dimensions are correct, and that this will seal up against the engine block. However, before I commit to pouring oil inside this thing, pre-lubricating the filter, I am going to pull this filter off, and then I will just test to make sure that this is gonna thread on. And it's also looking like my fuel filter is a little bit dirty. I think I have some spares kicking around. I might have a quick look for that while I wait for the engine to finish draining out. Got my magic box of assorted fuel filters here. Are any of these going to work? I don't like that these don't have the barbed ends. This might be overkill, but I think this one will fit. Definitely larger than what's already on there. What's wrong with more filtration, right? It should be fine. These look like junk. I'm thinking when I pull this one off, it's gonna have the barbed ends like this. But if it doesn't, maybe I will end up using one of these. I should just throw those in the garbage because I can't see myself using that if the application requires a barbed end. You can just wipe the tip off, replace the cap, and then put it away. I've got my hose put back up, the cap's on there. It just slides on, nice and easy. Now I'm gonna go over to the other side, I'm gonna pull that oil filter off. Hoping I can just spin that off by hand. Oh, I can. And I'm hoping also that this is not going to spill a whole bunch of oil all over the place, although I'm not overly optimistic about it. Yeah, there's a little bit of oil there. Now I need to wipe up all this mess that I've made. I don't think any of it is leaking down off the bottom of the lawnmower yet. It almost looked like the way that they stamped the surface there, that they knew that oil was going to pool there doing an oil and filter change. This isn't a Harley Davidson, but it does have a V-twin. I didn't pick up spark plugs. I probably should have done that. What I just did is I lowered my jack on the other side. That way the engine's kind of tilted the opposite way now. As I'm trying to put my new filter on there, I don't have to worry about it trying to drip all over the place as I'm trying to work. I'm trying to do as clean of a job as possible. I guess I'm doing as clean of a job as possible for me. That is a very sharp machined surface in there. I just sliced right into the top of my fingernail. Now here's the moment of truth. Is this going to fit in there? Let's find out. Yep, that'll fit. Here's the JD filter, and here's the Fram filter. They look very similar. It looks like the threaded portion is slightly different. I'm sure that the JD filter actually filters a lot better. It's just a small engine. Looks like it'll be fine. What I will do is I'm going to measure the threaded portion's diameter, just because the Fram filter, it felt a little bit loose for engagement, but it's probably negligible. 17 millimeters, 16.84. I'm happy with that. I am going to pre-lube this filter and I'll get it spun on there. I am using this Quaker State 10W30. I made sure that the specifications for the oil meets or exceeds what John Deere recommends for this lawn tractor, and it does. This was on sale for 30 bucks. Every other gallon of oil was like, I think it was like around 40 bucks plus. If I can save a little bit of money, why not? Not that all oil is equal. I mean, this is just a small engine lawnmower, and I'm probably going to be changing the oil in this a little bit more frequently than the average person anyway. All it needs to do is lubricate and pick up any contaminants. Pour a little bit of oil into the filter. Now, I'm not going to completely fill this, and that's because this oil filter spins on laterally and I don't want to lose a whole bunch of oil. What I'm doing is I'm just making sure that the filter element has oil in it. And as always, take a little bit of oil, wipe it on the seal. I like to use the box to hold my oil filter while I'm doing this stuff. I mean, you could just do it on your bench with no box, whatever. Just take the excess and pour that out back into that thing. Time to go spin this on. I used to be pretty OCD about making sure that I'm using all of the manufacturer required oils and filters and stuff, but man, everything's so expensive now. I'm trying to save a couple bucks here and there. Now, there's things that I won't cheap out on. Oil's oil, a filter's a filter. It's not like this is my vehicle that I'm cheaping out on, it's my lawnmower. I highly doubt that anything bad is gonna happen with this. Famous last words. You can definitely tell that Fram's quality control is not the same as John Deere's. And just like any other oil filter, this doesn't need to be smoking tight, it just needs to be seated. One final little wipe down there. And maybe while I'm here, I'll do this fuel filter. Yeah, this is on there, holy crap. I just got my fuel filter pulled off here. As you can see, there's some junk in there. I don't know how bad that is. Don't know if those are gonna be compatible. But I didn't break this one in the process, so I will see if I can get this to slip on. Well, that might be a problem. So because of the increased diameter of that little clamp doesn't want to go up over top. Yeah, it doesn't really seem right. I'll just order one on Amazon. It'll be here in like 2 days. It's not like the one that was on there was terrible anyway. Like, it does have a little bit of junk in it, but well, I tried something out. It didn't work. I didn't ruin anything, so I'll just throw it back together the way that it was. Yeah, when you're tinkering in the garage, sometimes you can't be afraid to try stuff. I mean, sometimes when you try things, it works out and it's awesome. Other times you try some stuff, it doesn't work out, and you just gotta move on. There we go. Okay. Time to get the oil in this thing. Lift this side back up, and then I'll get my wheel back on. Time for the old Torque-o-matic. I think that's tight. I'm gonna clean all this crap out of here before I drop this down. Now I gotta put oil in this thing. I gotta drop this thing down so I can top it up with oil, because I don't want to be pouring oil in like this. It just seems a little ridiculous. Go up, up, off the lock, and down. I got crap everywhere here. Okay, I'm gonna top this thing up. This thing calls for 2 quarts of oil, and what I did was I took my gallon, I metered out into 2 quarts into this little pouring jug, and I can just dump it all in. So the dipstick's out. And this might seem like pretty simple stuff to most people that watch my videos, but you know what? Not everybody knows how to do an oil change, so that's why I make videos. Well, not why. I make videos for my own hobby, but I also like to help people out. And like I was saying earlier, I was looking for a video on this and I couldn't find one. And the only thing that I'm maybe a little bit concerned about is the oil filter leaking. And that's just because of that slight difference in the inside diameter for the threaded portion. I'll get that figured out here pretty quick, I think. That's the end of her. This little like pour jug, I think I paid like 20 bucks for it at Canadian Tire. And honestly, this thing has been really good. I didn't think that that something like this would make my life as easy as it has, but I'm definitely spilling a lot less oil. Probably one of the best things about it is I can just look in the manual, see what the capacity is for oil and whatever I'm doing an oil change to. Pour it in that, and then I know that I'm putting the right amount in. That level's going to drop once the oil filter is full of oil. Once I run it a little bit, then I'll check the level again and then go from there. We'll go over how much money I've actually saved today. I just checked the John Deere website. What they charge for their service kit is $70 plus shipping. I spent $30 on the oil and my filter was 10 bucks. I spent $40 instead of spending $70, so I saved 30 bucks today. I'll probably just take compressed air and blow out the air filter on that, and it'll be good to go. And it's those little ways where you can save yourself a little bit of money here and there. I just pulled the air filter off. Yeah, that's pretty gross. Maybe I should have got a new air filter. Oh, that's looking a little bit better now. We'll throw it back on the mower. I was looking at the list price for these, and these are $27 individually. I spent $0. Now, is that the right thing to do? Definitely not. Did it work? Yeah. All right, I'm gonna get this thing off the hoist now. It's been running for a few minutes now. Anytime I'm checking oil, I always pull the dipstick out first, wipe it off, and then put it back in. I don't know if you're going to be able to pick that up or not. The level is perfect. Just to go over everything that I did here today, I went out and I bought the cheapest oil that I could find at Canadian Tire to put in this. I bought the cheapest oil filter that I could find, and as I said before, I saved roughly about $30 all in all. I probably could have used a new air filter, but I wiped that off and then I blew it out with compressed air, and I got to taste everything that thing filtered out for the past, I don't know, probably a year or so. I don't know what the maintenance was like with the previous owner. A couple other things that I did too is I checked the tire pressures, because with these zero turns, if your tire pressure's off, then it's going to feel like it's dragging in one direction or the other. I think the last thing that I did is I adjusted these handles. Last year before I put this thing away, I had them adjusted so that they came back too far. It was basically just undoing a nut and then just pulling the levers where I wanted them. That's pretty much going to do it. I have no idea what the next video is going to be. I'm hoping I'm probably going to take the Street Glide for a trip somewhere. I've got a couple trips planned with a couple of buddies. I'm just not too sure like when it's actually going to happen. But there's a few spots within, I guess, my semi-local area that I'd like to go check out. There's a couple like hole-in-the-wall pizza shops that I'd like to go see. So that's going to do it for this video. I appreciate everybody for tuning in, watching. I hope maybe I helped a couple people out with figuring a few things out. I will put in the description the oil filter part number that I used and that cross-referencing website that I was talking about at the beginning of the video. Hopefully it can help somebody out. If not, whatever. Thanks for watching. I'll see you guys next week.